Welcome to Millennium Daytime Bulletin. I'm Shweta Simar from New Delhi and you are watching Millennium News Channel 24. Today I'm bringing you the latest news from around the world. Let's look at the updates. Hamas says Israel strikes kill more than 50 in Gaza. Badly damaged Russian tankers carrying thousands of tons of fuel spill oil near Black Sea. German Chancellor faces confidence vote likely to lead snap elections. Israel closes embassy in Ireland blaming extreme anti-Israeli policies. Cyclone Chido kills several in French territory before heading for Africa's east coast. Drone detection system deployed to New York after mystery sightings. South Korea's court begin Yoon's impeachment trial process. US market under pressure, Latin America sees mixed gains as investors weigh economic signals. Los Angeles Lakers cruise to victory on LeBron James' return as Anthony Davis put up 40. Bucks and Thunder to vie for NBA Cup championship following semi-final victories. Now let's look at the details. More than 50 people were killed in Israeli air and ground attack across the Gaza Strip on Sunday, according to local medics and rescuers. They said children, a cameraman who worked for Al Jazeera TV network, and personnel from the Civil Defense Agency were among the dead. The Israeli military said it targeted sites used by Hamas and the allied armed groups Palestinian Islamic Jihad. The Hamas-run health ministry said the deaths meant the number of Palestinians killed in Gaza during the 14 months war between Israel and Hamas had surpassed 45,000. The ministry does not make a distinction between combatants and civilians, but it reported that October 29,980 children, women and elderly were among the identified fatalities. The figures are often disrupted by the Israeli government, which says almost 20,000 terrorists have been killed, but they are broadly accepted by UN agencies. The war began when Hamas-led gunmen carried out an unprecedented attack on the southern Israel on 7 October 2023, during about which 1,200 people were killed and 251 others were taken hostages. Two Russian tankers carrying thousands of tons of fuel were badly damaged in stormy weather near the Black Sea over the weekend, leading to an oil spill, according to Russian state media. The Volgoneft 1212 and Volgoneft 297 vessels were in the Kerch Strait between mainland Russia and annexed Crimea when they got into peril on Sunday, with winds in the area reaching up to 45 mph. Video circulating on unofficial Ukrainian and Russian telegram channels appeared to show one large ship snapped into, with water spilling over the edge of the top deck of the vessel as choppy waves rocked it from side to side. The bow of a ship seen in the background of the video was broken off and appeared just above the waterline. Crew members could be seen wearing life jackets as the camera spun around. Russian state media TASS reported that those on board both vessels were rescued, though one crew member of the Volgoneft 212 is reported to have died. The tankers were carrying more than 9,000 tons of oil, emergency service reported. According to TASS, some of this oil spilled into Kerch State, which specialists were preparing to clean up, it said. The oil spill had the potential to be serious. Greenpeace Ukraine said in a statement published on Sunday, especially given the area's weather condition, which could make the leak. extremely difficult to contain. The impact of spill could also depend on the type of oil the vessel were carrying. Paul Johnson, head of the Greenpeace Research Laboratory, said in the statement, heavy residual of oil would cause more damage other than the substances, he said. The region suffered a similar oil spill in November 2007 when 5 ships sank in storm in the Black Sea and the Azov Sea. In the incident, strong winds and high surf caused the Volga-Neft 139 to spilling up 560,000 gallons or approximately 1,000 tons of fuel oil. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz faces a confidence vote on Monday. He is expected to lose, paving the way for a snap election early next year. Scholz himself called the veto, and if he loses, he will have to ask Germany's President Frank-Walter Steinmeier to dissolve parliament in a process which would trigger fresh elections. New elections must be held within 60 days of parliament being dissolved. Scholz, who lead the center-left Social Democrats, that is SPD, reached an agreement with opposition parties to hold an early federal election on February 23. Last month, Germany's governing coalition collapsed after disagreements over the country's weak economy led Scholz to sack his finance minister Christian Lindner, leaving him in a minority government with the Green Party. Lawmaking has largely ground to halt since the movement of the government collapse. Scholz initially announced that he planned to hold a confidence vote on January 15, but he came under immediate pressure from the center-right Christian Democratic Union, that is CDU party, to hold them sooner. Scholz's government has grown increasingly unpopular in Germany, with Scholz also one of the least popular chancellors, even according to a September opinion poll. If a snap election is called, polls point to the conservative CDU, the party of former long-serving Chancellor Angela Merkel, being on track to win. The CDU is currently leading with 31% of the vote, according to a poll from Politburo, followed by the far-right alternative of Germany AfD with 18%, Scholz, SPD with 16%, and the Greens with 12%. Currently led by Merz, the CDU, alongside the Bavarian Sisters Party, the Christian Social Union CSU, has been the most dominant force in Germany's post-war era. Merz's campaign has focused on measures to boost Europe's largest economy, including incentives to work and tax cuts. Germany's economy shrank last year for the first time since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. It is set to contract again this year, according to latest forecast from the European Union executive body. The European Commission, the AfD, has also made significant grounds this year, becoming in September the first far-right party to win a state election since 1945, when it stunned centrist party to win almost a third of the vote in the eastern state of Thuringia. Germany's last snap election was in 2005. They were called for the then Chancellor Gerhard Schröder, who subsequently lost to Merkel. Israel's Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar announced the closure of the country's embassy in Ireland on Sunday, accusing Ireland of extreme anti-Israel policies. The action and anti-Semitic rhetoric used by Ireland against Israel are rooted in the delegitimization and demonization of the Jewish state along the double standards. Ireland has crossed every red line in its relation with Israel, Sa'ar said, according to a foreign ministry statement. Israel will invest its resources in advancing bilateral relations with the countries worldwide according to priorities that also take into account the attitudes and actions of the state towards Israel, he added. The statement pointed to action taken by the Irish government, including Ireland's decision to recognize a Palestinian state and its support for South Africa's legal action against Israel in the International Court of Justice, that is ICJ. Yair Lapid, Israel's opposition leader, criticized the move in a post on X, calling it a victory for anti-Semitism and anti-Israel organizations. The way to deal with criticism is not to run away but to stay and fight. His comments sparked backlash from Sar, who on his X social account wrote, "Shame on you, Yair. This is clear anti-Semitism based on delegitimization, dehumanization, and double standards towards the Jewish state." Israel Prime Minister Simon Harris described the Israel's decision as deeply regrettable. "I utterly rejected the assertion that Ireland is anti-Israel. Ireland is pro-peace, pro-human rights, and pro-international law," he wrote on X. Ireland announced in May that it would formally recognize the state of Palestine. "There is never a wrong time to do the right thing," Prime Minister Harris told Millennium at the time. In response, Israel ordered the immediate recall of its ambassador to Ireland. Dublin in March said it would become and intervene in a genocide case against Israel at the ICJ, reflecting the country's long-standing position of solidarity with Palestinian cause. The case was first brought to the ICJ by South Africa, and in initial ruling in January, the court ordered Israel to take all measures within its power to prevent genocidal acts in Gaza, but stopped short of accusing it of genocide. Cyclone Chido caused extensive damage on the French territory of Mayotte in the Indian Ocean, leaving several people dead, officials said on Saturday. As the storm rode towards the east coast of Africa, French Interior Minister Bruno said a very provisional tally shows that there are at least a few people who have died. We said he just not yet provide any precise numbers of people killed in the injury, given rescuers have not yet been able to assess the situation on the ground. "We're afraid that it all will be high, but for the moment I can't give any figures," he told reporters following an emergency meeting at the Interior Ministry in Paris. The island seems devastated. Chido brought winds in excess of 220 kph, according to the French Weather Service, ripping metal's roof off houses in Mayotte, which has a population of just over 3 lakhs spread over two main islands that lie around 800 kilometers off Mozambique. French new Prime Minister Francis Barry, who have appointed Friday, said public facilities have been severely damaged and destroyed, including the prefecture, the hospital, and the airport. He said many people living in precarious shacks in slum areas have faced very serious risk. French President Emmanuel Macron said he was closely monitoring the situation. "Our island is being hit by the most violent and destructive cyclone since 1934. Many of us lost everything," Mayotte Prefect Francis Xavier said in a Facebook post on Saturday that he has highest alert has been lifted to what rescuers can help after the worst of the cyclone had passed. The French Interior Ministry said 1,600 police and gendarmerie officers have been deployed to help the population and prevent potential looting. Some 1,100 rescuers and firefighters sent to Mayotte from the France and nearby territory of Reunion have been deployed, and additional reinforcement of 140 people will be sent on Sunday. France's poorest island, Mayotte, has previously struggled with drought and underinvestment. French Transport Minister François Drouet said Mayotte Airport was badly damaged, particularly the control tower, by the cyclone in a message on X. He said infrastructure on the island had been heavily impacted and air traffic will first reopen to military aircraft only. Ships are being used to provide supplies. Mayotte is still under red alert for the ordinary population, and people were asked to remain confined to a solid shelter. Prefect said only emergency and security services were allowed to go out. Local broadcaster Mayotte La said that thousands of homes were without power. Tin huts and other small structures have been blown away and many trees have been blown over as well. US officials are sending a drone detection system to New York. Governor Kathy Hochul says any questions over mysterious objects in the sky over the East Coast and beyond grew in recent days would be answered. Hochul requested the federal assistance after drone sightings forced runways at Stewart International Airport in the state and shut an hour after the last week. In response to my calls for additional resources, our federal partners are sending a drone detection system to New York, Hochul wrote on X on Sunday. She said state governments needed more power to deal on their own with the small uncrewed aircraft that have also been reported in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Connecticut, and Massachusetts. And further west in Ohio, drone sightings also led to the closure of Wright-Patterson Air Force Base for about an hour on Friday night. According to the local media, Congress must pass a law that will give us power to deal with directly the drones, Hochul said in her post after last week promising to do whatever it takes to ensure New Yorkers remain safe. Senators Chuck Schumer said on Sunday he hoped to pass a bill that would give local enforcement more power to investigate unidentified flying objects, that is UFO, saying I am pushing for answers amid these drone sightings. He also asked that a drone detection system similar to one headed for New York also sent to New Jersey, where most of the aerial encounters have so far been recorded. New Jersey Senator Andy Kim said he went out with local residents over the weekend to observe the night sky and that he believed, based on the conversation, that the civilian pilots and flight tracking data that the most aircrafts he saw were almost certainly planes. Despite their demands for more help in dealing with the issue, Hochul and other officials have sought to reassure the public that they suspected drones to not pose a national security threat. On Sunday, Homeland Security Secretary Mayotte confirmed the sightings, including drones as well as manned aircraft commonly mistaken for drones. He told ABC News that he knew of no foreign involvement related to the sightings. The Pentagon has denied the suggestion of one New Jersey representative that the possible drones were coming from the Iranian mothership lurking off the East Coast, while an FBI official has said that it may have been a slight overreaction on the topic. According to Myrask, the uptick in drone reports may be due to a change in federal regulations following drones to be flown at night. South Korea's Constitutional Court has begun trial proceedings for the impeachment of President Yoon Suk-yeol, who was suspended for declaring martial law and plunging his country into political turmoil. MPs voted in impeaching process Yoon's last Saturday after his actions sparked widespread protest calling for him to step down. The court now has 6 months to decide whether to remove Yoon or instate him. Yoon's ruling party, PPP, that is People's Power Party, has been grappling with the fallout ever since, with its leader announcing his resignation on Monday. While public hearing for Yoon's impeachment trial could take months, the court is under direct pressure to decide quickly and bring an end to this political uncertainty. Protesters have voted to keep up their calls for Yoon's removal during court proceedings. In the previous 2 instances, a South Korean president faced impeachment. The court reversed our decision and upheld the other. There has been questions on whether the trial could proceed in Yoon's case, as the court currently has 6 justices out of 9. 3 retired recently have yet to be replaced, and the court said on Monday it could run Yoon's trial with just 6 judges and set a preliminary hearing date for the 27th of December. If the court upholds impeachment in Yoon's case, the country must hold fresh presidential election within 60 days. In the meantime, Prime Minister Han Duck-soo is serving as acting president. It is unclear if Yoon will take the stand himself during the court hearing. He ignored a summon to meet prosecutors in Seoul on Sunday, and it is set to be ordered it again for questioning. If he fails to come forward this week, police may move to arrest him. Yoon has defended his decision to impose martial law, and after his impeachment, he once again said he would fight until the end. Minutes after the Constitutional Court convened on Monday morning, PPP leaders Han Dong-hoon announced his resignation. Now bringing you the latest update on today's market trends. In the United States, the Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped 86.06 points, a 0.20% decline, reflecting continued caution as traders process economic data and central bank signals. Meanwhile, the broader S&P 500 edged slightly lower, losing just 0.16%, staying virtually unchanged as 6,050. However, the Nasdaq Composite bucked the trend with a gain of 23.88 points, that is 0.12%, indicating strength in the technology sector, which remains a bright spot in the US market. Volatility also remained in focus, with the VIX, often referred to the fear index, climbing 2.50%. This suggests heightened uncertainty as investors look for clarity around inflation trends and potential interest rate moves. The Russell 2000, tracking smaller cap US stock, faced a sharper decline of 0.60% as it shed 14.19 points, reflecting weakness in riskier assets. North of the border, Canada's market saw notable losses. The S&P TSX Composite fell by 136 points, while the S&P TSX 60 dropped 7.88 points. This downward movement points to broad-based selling across sectors in Canadian equities. In Latin America, results were mixed. Brazil's Bovespa posted a modest gain of 75.14 points, suggesting stability in the region's largest economy. In contrast, Chile's S&P IPSA slipped by 0.09%, that is 0.01%, indicating flat trading amid subdued investor sentiment. However, Mexico's BMV IPC emerged as the day's standout performer, surging 335 points, supported by optimism over local economic developments. Overall, today's trading reflects investor caution in North American market, while selective gains in Latin America highlight pocket of opportunity amid broader volatility. All eyes remain on oncoming and economic reports and central bank's decision, which will likely set the tone for markets moving forward. The top performer of the day is the Direxion Daily Tesla Bull 25X, which soared 8.69 to close at $33. This significant move comes as Tesla shares rally on renewed investor optimism surrounding deliveries and production growth forecast. Traders looking to capitalize on short-term momentum flocked to this leveraged ETF, driving its robust upward performance. Right behind in the Direxion Daily Semiconductor Bull 3X shares, which posted an impressive gain of 7.87%, settling at $30.70. This surge reflects the strong momentum in the semiconductor sector, driven by higher demand for AI technologies and robust earning guidance for leading chip manufacturers. With the tech sector continuing its rebound, SXOL attracted heavily volumes of 104 million shares traded. On the other hand, inverse ETFs took a hit as a broader technology market rallied. The T-Rex 2X inverse Tesla daily target ETF dropped 8.53 to $2.36, mirroring Tesla's bullish move. Similarly, the T-Rex 2X inverse daily targets declined 7.33, closing at just $0.84. MSTZ reflects the inverse population performance of MicroStrategy, a stock heavily linked to Bitcoin's price volatility, which saw upward movement today. However, not all inverse ETFs suffered. The T-Rex 2X inverse NVIDIA daily target managed a moderate gain of 4.4, rising to $3. NVIDIA's ongoing volatility keeps traders engaged on both sides of the market, contributing to this ETF acting trading volume of 26 million. Today, ETF performance highlights the growing enthusiasm in the technology sector, especially for Tesla and semiconductor related assets. Leveraged ETF like SOXL and Tesla are seeing substantial investor interest as traders look to amplify return amid tech upward momentum. Meanwhile, inverse ETFs such as MSTZ and Tesla's reflect short-term pain for those betting against the market bullish moves. As always, investors should tread carefully with leveraged ETFs given their high volatility and short-term nature. That market concludes today's ETF is commentary. We'll be right back after a short break. I'm Shweta Simar from New Delhi. Keep watching Millennium Daytime Bulletin.
Millennium TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Welcome back after the break. I'm Shweta Simar from New Delhi and you're watching Millennium Daytime Bulletin. The Los Angeles Lakers eased to a 116-110 victory over the Memphis Grizzlies on Sunday as LeBron James returned to the team following a 2-game absence. The 39-year-old missed the Lakers' recent games against the Portland Trail Blazers and the Minnesota Timberwolves due to personal reasons and injury management for his foot. James finished his 18 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists as a steal and 2 blocks in 34 minutes as the Lakers bounced back from Friday's defeat to the Timberwolves. James, who turned 40 in 2 weeks, said ahead of the season that it had been a goal to play in all 82 games. If it was just to me, I probably would have played, James said as per ESPN. It would be hard to keep me away from it. I have a team and I go to listen to them as well as they look out for me in my best interest. When asked how he spent his week off, James replied, a lot of rehabbing, a lot of training still to make sure that I was ready to go tonight. James said, didn't forget too much of the shape. Lakers head coach J.J. Redick has previously said that James was away on an accused absence and was taking some time to heal himself amid injury concerns and rumors that his time with the franchise and the perhaps even NBA career may be coming to an end. I had an opportunity to take more days and get my mind, body and everything where I wanted to be for tonight, James said. And it worked out. James added that the foot pain he's been dealing with is an everyday thing. The second edition of the NBA Cup Championship game will pit the Milwaukee Bucks versus the Oklahoma City Thunder at T-Mobile Arena in Los Angeles on Tuesday. After both teams emerged from the in-season tournament semifinals on Saturday, one of the league's hottest team, the Bucks edged the Atlanta Hawks 110 to 102 in the first of the two semifinals cup games on Saturday. Milwaukee star Giannis led the way in the dazzling performance, finalizing with a near triple-double, scoring 32 points, grabbing 14 rebounds and dishing 9 assists. He added 4 blocks, including a crucial late stuff in the fourth quarter. Milwaukee's Damian Lillard added 24 points. The 14-11 Bucks start to the season was not smooth, and the trend continued through the first 3 quarters as both teams went back and forth. Despite the 6 points deficit at half of Atlanta, it always felt closer than the box score indicated. Late in the third quarter, Atlanta tied the game up at 78 to 78 following the Onyeka three-pointer. Hawks forward Jalen Johnson then threw down a monster dunk on the Bucks forward Bobby Portis to give Atlanta their first lead given the first quarter. The game continued to be a tightly contested duel between the two Eastern Conference foes until the 30-year-old Greek superstar took over and gave Milwaukee a lead the Hawk could be surmount. That's all for now. Thank you for tuning in. Stay with us for more updates. Log in to stay updated with us latest news on our social media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Millennium News 24. Don't forget to check out our social media and YouTube channel Millennium News 24. You can watch us on Android and iOS devices as well as on Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, and all smart TV platforms. Enjoy entertainment and latest news with us. Download the Millennium TV app, Millennium TV USA for Android, and Millennium News on Google. Thank you for being part of Millennium News 24.